called slow out and slow in. And the idea here is that if we have a frame at the beginning and a frame at the end that we're going between, that we start at and end at, if we have frames equally spread along the timeline reaching our final frame, the motion is going to appear mechanical and a bit stale, because the reality is if we move our arm from this position to this position, we don't actually do so at a perfectly even rate. In fact, what tends to happen is we usually have a slow in where we have more frames of motion, you could say, and then as the frames are spread apart, the motion gets faster, and then as we add more frames, the motion slows down. So applied in context to our animation, when our gorilla stomps in and we have this squash frame when he hits the ground, he decelerates until he's standing perfectly still. And as you can see, if I hide my monkey to avoid distraction, when he hits the ground, let's point out his head position at the start of the motion, and then at the very center of this motion, his head position is here, and at the very end of the motion, his head position is actually here. Even though the duration of frames between these two is exactly the same duration of frames between these two, the motion is decelerating as more frames are added and he's slowing down. And this means that we're winding down, bam, from a very extreme segment of animation. The same can be applied to constant elements of movement. So for example, when he moves backwards, we have an acceleration and deceleration into each movement. So as he raises his fist and moves his body back, we start off moving quite slow, and each frame is only away from each other in a minute way. But towards the center of the animation, these motions are much further apart until once again it decelerates into moving minimally. And that could be displayed visually along a timeline like this. We have more frames closer together at the start of the motion. In the middle of the motion, we have frames further apart as the motion is faster, and then they get closer again towards the end. This has been applied throughout the entire animation and is a pretty important thing to sort of keep in mind. When the monkey has fallen down and is sitting up, something interesting happens here too. We have a very rapid acceleration. So we start off moving quite slow. The head is sort of lagging behind as the body drags the head up, and then we have a very rapid throw down towards where he lands, and we have a deceleration into this head position where he's sitting up. So it's a very rapid acceleration into this throw down, and then a rapid deceleration. And then even as his head sways, there's a slight acceleration and deceleration with every motion. With most motions that I've actually applied through the animation, there is a speed up and a slow down, and this helps to add interest to the motion, make it feel more organic, and also sort of soften the blow a bit. So for example, when he lands, rather than having him immediately stop dead, he's going to have a slight bit of bounce with a decelerated motion to the bounce. Slow ins and slow outs soften the action and make for a more lifelike segment of animation, and they'll help give more snap to the scene as well, refining your animation until it's much more appealing than it would be with a much more mechanical, evenly spaced apart. Thanks for watching through this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.